Hey guys, I'm IzDaisho, and I'm here bringing you some Hearthstone. And today I think I'm going to do another arena run. And this time I was thinking of going with Priest, but I don't really like playing Priest that much. I think I want to try another Hunter one, even though I know I did it like three maybe or so ago. I think I want to give it another shot. It wasn't such a good one the other time. It was a little bit interesting because I just basically decided to take every Unleash the Hounds that I saw, but I think I need it to be a little bit more consistent this time. So I should obviously go with the Beast here, so I'm going to take the Angry Chicken. No, I'm not actually going to do that. Savannah Highmane is an interesting card. It's good to drop if you're ahead or close to even, but playing from behind, this thing just doesn't do enough. It's too slow, and they can kind of just ignore it. That being said, Blade Master is just like an average card. 3 mana, 4/3. If you're not in Priest, is kind of like, it's fine. Like, yeah, I'll play it, but usually your 3 drops can, like, Harvest Golem and Scarlet Crusader can give you sources of card advantage, so I like that. But anyway, I'm still going to take the Savannah Highmane because it does have the most potential to be really powerful in this deck, I think. This is a pretty bad pack. I could either take the Timberwolf to try and get an Unleash the Hounds combo, or I can take a Reckless Rocketeer. Young Dragonhawk is just too weak. It's a little bit disappointing either way, but I think I may as well go with the Timberwolf. Rocketeer is not going to do too. I mean, it's an okay card, but with Unleash the Hounds as a reasonable option, I can take Timberwolf. So it looks like I'm going to try and go for a Beast deck, and picking up a Scavenging Hyena is not bad. And I think that, I mean, with Unleash the Hounds, a Beast deck is a lot more viable than it used to be. Stranglethorn Tiger is a pretty good card, and it definitely is better than Scavenging Hyena in a vacuum, but trying to build a better Beast deck, maybe Hyena can get some work done. So none of these cards are Beasts, but Chillwind Yeti is awesome. So I'm going to go with that. I don't like Snipe as removal because your opponent can often just play around it, and if they don't have a Novice Engineer to play, they can still play their weakest creature out, or a creature that doesn't really care about getting hit for 4 damage. There's a lot of situations where Snipe is not very good, especially since you don't have the ability to just pick something off for 1 damage. So that means that 5 toughness things are basically as if they were full toughness, even if they don't get killed. I mean, not quite, but Spiteful Smith is a lot better in Rogue or even in Warrior, but it's not unplayable in any deck because a 5 mana 4/6 is still a reasonable amount of stats. But anyway, we're going to go with Chillwind Yeti because he is the most efficient card in the pack. So I'm pretty happy I didn't take the Rocketeer because at this point I guess I would probably just take the Silvermoon Guardian to avoid getting my 3rd 6-drop. Elven Archer is actually a pretty good card. Or not pretty good, but it's a reasonable card, and it's nice to be able to like pick something off for 1 damage in a deck that doesn't have a hero ability that does that. But that being said, Boulderfist Ogre is just a very big card that your opponent has to deal with if they want to win the game. At this point, the Silence Beast is not really too good because it is a 2/1, and Silvermoon Guardian is an okay card, so I'll go ahead and take that. Shield Bearer is a card that I never want to play. All it does is give me a little bit of time, and often just not enough time, so I don't like that card at all. 3rd Silvermoon Guardian that I've seen already. I'm going to take Tracking, especially with Timberwolf and Scavenging Hyena. These are 2 combo-y cards, so if I can pick up the other ends to the combo, then it'll be nice to have Tracking to help me find them. So this is an interesting pick here. I can either choose for Acidic Swamp Ooze, which is a pretty powerful card, or a multi-shot. Wind Fury Harpy is not really in the discussion. I already have a couple of 6s, and this is worse than both of those and worse than 6 drops that I can pick up later. So there's really no point in picking that up when I have other options. And I think I'm going to go with the multi-shot. I don't have any removal yet, and I do like this card as a good removal spell. So I'm going to go with multi-shot. Acidic Swamp Ooze is a really good 2-drop with upside, so it's definitely in the conversation, but I think that guy's a little bit better. With already 2 4-drop creatures and no 3-drop creatures, plus the fact that Harvest Golem is unnerfed, whereas this is a little bit nerfed, I think I'm going to go with Harvest Golem. I think it's just the ability to get card advantage out of this card is a little bit better than boosting your creature so that it can take out something a little bit bigger than it. Alright, so a couple options here. I can go for Abomination to shore up the weakness in that my deck doesn't really have Area of Effect. You can take a Mind Control tech to help me get back in the late game, plus bolster my early game because I don't have too much in the early game, or I can just take a Savannah Highmane because it's really powerful. I'm leaning towards the Highmane, but I'm not sure. The Mind Control tech might be a better pick, but I think I'm still going to take the Highmane. Abomination is, I mean, any of them were actually all considerations in that spot. Alright, this is an interesting one. So I can either take an Explosive Trap, which is just a pretty decent card, or I can take a Bloodfin Raptor, which is a good 2-drop, and it's a beast. I'm going to take the trap here, but if somebody argued that you should take the other thing, I wouldn't have yelled at them. So the 3/3s for 3 that don't do anything else, or the Sea Giant. I actually do like Sea Giant a fair bit, so I'm going to go with that. This is an interesting pick. I don't have any deadly shots, and I do like the card. And, I mean, I like it a fair bit. I don't love it. There's a Spellbreaker in the pack. I only have 2 4-drop creatures, so I can't take it, but I think I'm still going to take the deadly shot. I'm not sure which one was really better there. So I think I like Fairy Dragon a little bit better than Mad Bomber because of the possibility to hit my own creatures or hit myself. It's just a very situationally good card. Sometimes they just play Blood Imp turn 1 and you're like, coin Mad Bomber, sorry bro, you lose this game. But Fairy Dragon has some upside itself. All of these cards are pretty bad, but Tundra Rhino has the most upside. I didn't end up with a ridiculous beast theme yet. In fact, well, I do have 2 Savannah Highmane, so Tundra Rhino into Savannah Highmane is a nice little combo. But outside of those, not much going on there. I'm happy to pick up another 2-drop, and Loot Hoarder is a pretty good one. If you trade with a creature, like a 3/2, then you just get some card advantage out of it. If they use their hero ability to kill your guy, then usually you deal damage or 2 to them, and you just traded mana and card advantage. So it's really a fine card from every sort of point of view. So I can either take another 2-drop because I only have really 3 2-drops right now, or another Chillwind Yeti. And this guy's just a 2-mana 2/3 that's a lot worse than a River Crocolisk in this deck. And this guy is a Chillwind Yeti, so we're going to go with our second Yeti just because it's so big, so powerful. Pretty happy I didn't take the other Spellbreaker. If I had known that I was going to get another one, then I definitely would not have even thought about it. I don't need more 6-drops, I don't need more 1-drops, so I'm going to take the Spellbreaker. But I really want to even out my curve here. Okay, so Magma Rager and Wisp, neither of these two are real cards, so I'm going to take another Spellbreaker. A little bit unfortunate, but it had to be done. Alright, so this is actually probably a close pick. Millhouse Manastorm and Black Knight. Sometimes Millhouse Manastorm sucks, but most of the time he's just like, you play 2 mana, and I guess Harrison Jones is in the conversation as well. Most of the time you just play him for 2 mana, and sometimes your opponent could just kill him for free and then take control of the board, but often enough he's just like a 2 mana 4/4, and if that happens then you just win the game. But I think I'm just going to go with the Black Knight here. Harrison Jones is a little bit better for the curve, and a 5 mana 5/4 is not great but not terrible. And his upside is pretty nice, but I think that the Black Knight's upside is going to happen more often. I have a lot of 4-drops ready, so I'll take a 3-drop removal spell. I mean, if I'm just casting Deadly Shot on turn 3 to get rid of their 3-drop, then I'm okay with that. This is pretty bad. I might just go with a Mana Wraith here, just for a 2-mana 2/2, but I don't think it's quite worth it. I think I'd rather take the Ravenhold Assassin. While this card isn't great, it does have some applications, and it can be annoying to deal with, especially against a hunter. If you get them low enough, then you can just drop this guy, shoot, and then shoot the next turn, and like they're taking 11 damage over a couple of turns that they can't deal with. So, looks like we're going to take a Bluegill Warrior here. Taurian Warrior and Lord of the Arena are just not cards I'm looking to pick up. I already have a ton of top end, so I don't need another Lord. And Bluegill is a average card. I mean, it's not a great 2-drop, but it's pretty reasonable. Alright, so we're going to take our third Chillwind Yeti. It's obviously the better card in the pack, but we do have 5 4-drops and only 4 2-drops in a deck that needs to be playing 2-drops. I think I have to take the aggressive 2-drop because you can't just use the hero ability on turn 2. It's not an option. It's just very, very bad if you do that. So I think I have to take the 2-drop there. I'll take Darkscale Healer. I don't think I have enough early beasts for Houndmaster to be a valuable card, so we're going to go with Darkscale Healer. And we have 3 1-drops here. I think Elven Archer is probably the best of the 3. This is the most likely one that's going to trade for a card. These two, often enough, are just going to be eaten by a hero ability, and you just end up down on cards. Whereas this guy can usually finish someone off and get you at least some value out of it. So we're going to take this Unleash the Hounds pretty much snap pick over these two. Don't have enough beasts for Houndmaster, and Unleash the Hounds is a pretty good card, and we haven't found any of them yet, unfortunately. This pack is kind of bad, but I think I'm probably just going to take the Murloc here. Technically, you get a 3/2 for 2. Often enough, it's a lot worse, but it is a 2-drop that you can play on turn 2, and often enough get some value out of it, and at least not fall too far behind. Alright, so we did manage to pick up a 3-drop. I'm just trying to decide which of these two is better, Raging Worgen or Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Probably the Raging Worgen. It's pretty close though, and it's hard to argue either way. I'm going to take the Cobra here. I said earlier I don't really like the 4-3 too much. It's okay, Injured Blade Master, but the 2-3 is just significantly better in that it can trade up at any point of the game. It's good to play. You can trade for another 3-drop or even a 2-drop and it's not so bad. Or you can trade for their 5 or 6-drop often enough. So I do like the card and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm not very happy about this deck. I think that this is a very bad deck and it's probably not going to win more than 5 games. But we'll see. You never know. You could get lucky. I think I ended up picking up enough 2-drops. Not too many, but probably enough. Timberwolf did not end up being a good investment. It made sense at the time to pick, I think, because if I had been able to pick up 2 or 3 Unleash the Hounds, then it would have been a really cool card, but as it stands, it's just pretty terrible in this deck. And, I mean, while my Legendary is not terrible, it's not like the power Legendary that's going to win me the game. So, right now, I'm not even considering coining. I need to worry about what I'm going to do on turn 3, not what I'm going to do on turn 1. Alright, so he's got an Amani Berserker. That's alright. If he can't, or hopefully he can't deal with one of my guys. If he can, it becomes a little bit more troublesome, but I can always either coin into a Spellbreaker or just Explosive Trap. Alright. That's interesting. He's just going to hit me with it. That's okay. Alright, sure. He got in for 7 damage, that's fine. Still got to trade 2-drops and he didn't gain extra value out of this Taskmaster. Honestly, if I were him, I would have just hit the 2-1 and then used the 2-3 to hit my 1-1. He would have just gotten a lot more value out of it that way. Just getting in 7 damage right there doesn't seem like as much value as he possibly could have gotten out of it. So I'm not really sure what he's doing with that. Maybe he's just gonna go for my face, sure. Alright, so right here, got a couple options. I think I'm just going to go for an Explosive Trap and a Shoot. And then I'll just, I mean, it's very clear what I have here, but I mean, I'm not going to say that my opponent knows exactly what to do. Like, he might make a mistake and attack me first. He obviously should just trade these two and then attack, but if he makes a mistake, then he makes a mistake, and I don't care. Yeah, alright, so he figured it out. Still get some value out of this Explosive Trap. I 1-for-1 his Cruel Taskmaster and get to hit him for 2. And hopefully I'll be able to pick something off with this Tundra Rhino. That was my alternative play last turn. I could have just traded, coined into Tundra Rhino. That would have been pretty good. And probably should have been the play. But, you know, can't always play perfectly. Alright, Elven Archer. So, I think I might just coin out the Timberwolf here. Yeah. That way he only gets 1 draw out of the Acolyte of Pain. Oh, this has haste. Sweet. I don't really care if he kills it, because this thing sucks anyway. And if he's focused on killing this, then maybe he won't end up killing this guy, which means that I can drop my High Mane with Charge next turn, which would probably win me this game. But he's going to execute that for 1 mana, and then still be able to trade off, and still contribute a significantly powerful thing to the board, which is pretty bad for me. Because now he can hit me again for 5 next turn, and I have no way of gaining life. But no real other option. I mean, Spellbreaker does nothing on this board. Fairy Dragon and Elven Archer combined to do a grand total of nothing on this board. So, yeah, I might end up silencing that. I do have Elven Archer to take it out, which is nice. I can 1-for-1 our 1-drops in the middle of the game, which is a little bit strange. But I wouldn't mind seeing like a big taunter here, like a Lord of the Arena. That'd be sweet. That's terrible for me. So I'm down to 5 life here. Alrighty. What are we gonna do? Scavenging Hyena. I don't even know if I can survive. Oh, okay, I can survive. Do I have enough mana to play this? 2, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. And I have to, unfortunately, silence the leper gnome and then take it out with the elven archer. So, I had to do a significant amount just to survive, and I'm still dead to any weapon or burn spell. Like a mortal thing. Alright, looks like he has me dead. Or Nightblade. Alright. Well played, sure. Didn't really have any way of turning that game around after my mediocre start. Did I have a mediocre start? I think I played a 2-drop. What did I play on turn 2? Played a Murloc Tidehunter. He hit me for 7 with his Amani Berserker. Yeah, I didn't really think I was losing by that much, but I guess he had a lot of like burn damage that I couldn't really deal with. The 7 damage from the beginning, and then the Nightblade is another 10. 8 damage from the weapons. The 2 Rothy Weaponsmiths is 18, and then 5 from the Rocketeer is 23, and then he just got in a couple extra damage here and there. So it's kind of hard to beat that kind of thing without taunts, and I just did not have the right kind of deck to do it. I really needed to be rushing him down if I wanted to win that kind of game. Alright, so I'm going to keep the Murloc Tidehunter and the tracking, but I'm not going to keep the Ravenholdt Assassin. There's no point in keeping that. So I'm going to tracking, hopefully finding a 3-drop. Probably not. I don't have too many of them. I think I've only got a couple. But I could still get some value out of it. If he hadn't killed the Tundra Rhino, actually, I think I probably could have won that game. Still. Alright, we'll keep the removal here. There's a good chance that I'm going to be able to play it on turn 3 and get at least some amount of value out of it. I could have played, I mean, that was a pretty bad tracking because those were all the kind of things that I wanted to see. But I mean, then again, if you think about it, it's not a bad tracking because now I won't be drawing my 2 drops later in the game. See, like I've gone through my tracking plus 2 extra cards. So yeah, I've gone through 7 cards in my deck already, and they were all, or rather, the 2 that I discarded were ones that I don't want to be drawing anymore. I mean, they're not terrible to draw in the late game because you can combine them with other 2 drops, or like if you have 6 mana, 4 drop into 2 drops to make a pretty good play. But still okay. Alright, so I actually drew one of my 3 drops, so I might not have to use Deadly Shot next turn. I still might be willing to if you drop something like a Northshire Cleric and a Power Word Shield. That'd be pretty tough to deal with in a way other than Deadly Shotting it. I mean, I guess I could silence it in a turn, but by then he's already drawn an extra card and gotten his value out of it. So I wouldn't mind doing that play if he does, but he's being really slow here. The coin is really helpful since my curve is super choppy, so he can often just, or rather, the coin can often help me just smooth it out. Like, I have almost no 3 drops, like 1 or 2 5 drops. So it's really just 2, 4, and 6, and obviously doesn't add up well. Because that means that on the odd amount of turns, especially with the hero ability being 2, I almost can't ever do anything. So the coin really does help in making sure that I get to use all my mana in the early game. Alright, let's see if my opponent's going to do anything this turn. He hasn't really done much yet this game. Alright, so he's got a Earthen Ring Farseer. I'm probably just going to trade that for my 3-drop. I think Deadly Shot can be a little bit better, but then again, so can this guy. This guy can trade for anything, but he can also die to his Shadow Word Pain. Tough choice here. Well, I don't really have anything better to do with my mana this turn. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I've got 1 Unleash the Hound, so it's pretty unlikely that I end up using it. It makes him want to coin out a Holy Nova, but if he does so, then I don't really lose too much value, so I'm not too upset about it. Light Spawn, perfect. I've got a Spellbreaker. And I can still take it out. I think I want to take it out just because it's a little bit scary if... Elven Archer is a pretty decent draw here. It's a little bit scary if he does have like an Inner Fire plus a Divine Spirit or something like that. And since I can take it out for such a low cost right now, I may as well. So this is the turn he could have Holy Nova. I'm okay with it. He just gets to deal a couple damage to each of these guys and takes out my Murloc Tidehunter and my Timberwolf, but those are both completely okay with me. And next turn's turn 6, so he's got to do some drastic stuff. I mean, he could, like, Shadow Madness, steal this, attack into that. That would probably just be the worst possible scenario for me. Kills my 2 biggest creatures and leaves me with 2 tiny ones, but even so. Alright, so there's a Shadow Word Pain. So that's exactly what I was saying. He can just take it out with a Shadow Word Pain, and then this card ends up trading with a 2-drop instead of a much higher one. But Deadly Shot, I mean, he could play a couple of things, and maybe I can't kill him, and maybe one of them's behind a taunt or something like that. And I can't, and it ends up trading for a cheap spell as well. So he's going to drop another 4 here, which is Dragonling Mechanic. Not ideal here. Sea Giants are sweet. Alright, well, yeah, I'm just going to do this. Take this guy out. I was going to say that it sucks that I couldn't play a 5 or like a 6-drop plus Elven Archer this turn, but then I drew the Sea Giant. And I know I could have, I mean, like, it didn't matter if I played the Elven Archer first. Usually you want to play your other creatures first, but the Elven Archer was killing a creature when it enters the battlefield anyway, so it was still going to make my Sea Giant cost 5, plus if I had 1 extra mana, it wouldn't do anything anyway. So, yeah, it was pretty good. Demolisher. That doesn't look so good here. And Lightwell also does not look excellent here. Well, I guess, I mean... Oh, well, that's pretty good. Because I can just finish this guy off here, this guy here, and then still hit him for another 12 damage and go for a steady shot here. Down to 4. And he's got to, like, have Holy... No, he already used the coin, so he can't have Holy Nova and Shadow Word Death. So he's got to have Shadow Word Death and, like, Holy Smite for this, I guess. And gain life. No, that's not... He doesn't have enough mana. Mind Blast isn't going to cut it, though. Oh, man. And Nightblade. Okay. So, you got me to 22. Congrats. That was a much easier game than the first one. My opponent just didn't have me... Like, the first one, I was on the back foot from the entire game, from the beginning of the game and onward, and this one, it was completely the opposite. My opponent was on the back foot, and he couldn't do anything to try and stop my dominance and destruction that was in his wake. Either way, pretty good game. I mean, when you're between 0 and 3, you expect to play against lower caliber players. Sometimes you end up playing against other people who are like 1-0 or 0 or 1 or 0-0 or like 2-0 or something like that. But a lot of the time, you get to play against the other people who have already lost a game or 2 games, and then makes it a lot easier because the percentages that you're playing against a good player just significantly decrease. So I'm actually going to keep the Raging Organ and the Tracking here. Doesn't seem likely. Wow, this is a weird hand. So I like to keep 3-drops in this deck because I barely have any. Plus 3-drops are pretty good against Paladin because of his hero ability. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he's got here. I mean, I'm gonna go for a Tracking here and hopefully pick up a 2-drop or a 3-drop out of it, so that I have a good play next turn. Oh man, this is complete garbage. Alright, well, we'll go with this. But I'm not happy about it. Hopefully he plays a 3-2. Or even a 2-3, that would be fine too. Definitely not looking like an excellent spot for me so far. But at least I got rid of those 2 bad cards. Alright, so he's just going to go with a Silverhand Recruit, which makes me want to play a Raging Organ. It's a little bit dangerous, but probably should be okay. Main issue is that I'm not playing on curve, and I kind of wasted the coin. But I get a pretty distinct advantage by playing the Raging Worgen this turn as opposed to next turn. And now basically whatever he does, unless it's involving murdering my Raging Worgen, it looks like it's a... Ooh. Alright, so he didn't end up killing my guy, which is nice, but I don't have a good way of taking his guy out either. Uther. Alright, so let's just drop a Tidehunter here, and then we'll hit him. No, I can't hit him for 8 here. That's playing way too hard into Consecration. So we'll just hit him for 4, and then he would basically get 2 full cards out of it, plus he'd still have his 3/2. So plus board control is really bad. This kind of situation puts him in the spot where if he does have a Consecration, then at least I get to play the first creature afterwards. Alright, so he's going to drop that. That's alright. Okay, so I'm just going to trade my 2-drop for his 3 and then shoot him in the face. It's not a great play, but I don't have too many great plays with this hand. Black Knight's probably going to be good, might be bad, I don't know. Somebody who's playing the Grizzly Bear could have just gotten a really bad pack with the Grizzly in it, or it could mean that he values taunts higher than I do. So if he does, there we go. And that could be pretty good. This is so unfortunate. As much as I want to just Spellbreaker and attack him anyway, like, I have no other play. I think that's probably still fine. Maybe I just attack into it, maybe not. I'm just gonna shoot him here and let him attack me if he wants, and next turn I can Black Knight this. Anytime you can get value out of Black Knight, it's worth it. Even though, I mean, the play of dropping Spellbreaker here is a little bit better, but it just makes the Black Knight so bad next turn. Then again, I could also just multi-shot Bluegill Warrior next turn. Still might end up being the right play. True Silver, sure. Seems a little strange here. Leash. I think I threw away my Timberwolf already. He's just gonna hit me. I'm alright with this. So multi-shot Bluegill takes out both his guys, but I think that I have a better use of it in the future, and this is like a pretty good way to deal with his board here. The other card was good too, but I guess I'm not up by that much. 6-7 to my 3-7-8 plus. Yeah, I'm up a couple of cards here. But I'm also at a high enough life total that I can, and I have Area of Effect. Oh god, the worst. So I mean I can't afford to, but it looks like he's just gonna kill my guy. It wouldn't make much sense to not. I'd be okay with it, but wouldn't really understand it. Actually, I would understand it, but I think it would be wrong. Alright, so my best play here is to play my Black Knight, which I just got rid of. Okay, there we go. And I can just drop this Deadly Shot here. So when you get to use Deadly Shot like this, very efficient. Honestly, I think I can afford to drop this Bluegill Warrior here on an open board, start beating him down. I don't know. Putting the extra power on the board makes it a little bit more likely that I can play Ravenholt's Assassin next turn as opposed to dealing with his threats. But also makes multi-shot a little bit better in case he has like a 5 toughness thing, then I can still multi-shot and get in with this. Ugh, that guy is just very large. Alright, Ravenholt's Assassin it is. Pretty simple play here. I can just trade next turn. Not really much he can do to stop this. He could play another Taunter, which, I mean, he's already played 3 Taunters, so I can definitely tell that he's got some taunt. Oh god, that is bad for me. definitely scary situation. It's not like I can even trade here and then still take that guy out. Alright, Sea Giant's not a bad draw. So what we're going to do here is play Amani, Sea Giant, and then are we going to ping or am I going to drop an explosive trap here? I'm going to... Oh, I mean, I also could just play and Unleash the Hounds. Trade with the 1-1, hit him upstairs. How valuable is this 1-1? Not very.
Problem solved.
Alright, sure.
Problem solved.
Why not? An explosive trap doesn't do anything here. But I mean, he's got to deal with this 8-8 now. Definitely causing him some issues. There's a good chance Unleash the Hounds is going to be insane next turn. Well, looks like he's got a Blessing of Kings. Still, Unleash the Hounds is going to be alright. Like my Timberwolf back, but... Wind Fury RB. That's not good. Alright, it's not bad. I can pretty easily take out both these creatures and end up with a board advantage. Minor board advantage. A 5-2 and a 1-1. Greetings. Alrighty. Chillwind Yeti, now major board advantage. So first... No, sorry. First, Unleash the Hounds. Followed up with killing that. Then multi-shot. Hit this guy for a couple. One upstairs. And the Chillwind Yeti to seal the deal. Pretty good play. If my opponent's got another giant creature, that would suck. But, I mean, that turn was very beneficial for me. I had the tools to defeat him pretty handily right there. Even with silencing this, it gives him a pretty good creature. But I'm just gonna... Well, I could go the old-fashioned way, or I could... Actually, I mean, I'm definitely considering just hitting him upstairs here for a significant amount of damage. I mean, I can silence this, drop a fairy dragon. This is a lot worse if he has consecration, but I think that he has had some pretty good opportunities to play consecration in the past, and it's rather unlikely that he's got one. But if he does, then I'm probably going to end up losing the game. Maybe not a good idea. Probably should have just traded for this thing. Alright, looks like he doesn't have it. Avenging Wrath. It shouldn't be so bad. The more that hit me in the face, the better. So he ended up killing my Spellbreaker, so he got his value out of it, but definitely not so good for him. Ooh, what's that? Humility. Okay. That makes my decision to what to do this turn pretty easy. And drawing the Boulder Fist Ogre is nice here. Very nice indeed. But yeah, I mean, Chillwind Yeti can now just kill his his Reinforce that he's going to do every turn anyway. Although I do actually have lethal for next turn. If he can't gain life or present a Taunter. Well, that must have been disappointing for him. I don't know when he drew that, but... Well, it looks like he does have some life gain, maybe. Maybe? No. Well played. I wonder if he realizes that I have 9 damage. Oh, silly mask.
I will hunt you down.
Please let me go. I want this game to be over with. You obviously lost. You can just deal with it later, man. Not on my time. Or your time. Or everyone's time. don't want to break anything.
Move quickly. Let me.
What an annoying player. There's no, I mean, like, really, now you're gonna do it? I don't know, maybe he didn't realize. I mean, like, your character emotes for a reason when you haven't done anything, and it's not just to, like, annoy you, it's to remind you that you're just sitting there doing nothing. Anyway, we got a couple of wins, one loss. That'll be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, though, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.